Okay, welcome. Happy New Year. I hope you've had a decent evening. Elodie decided that she didn't want to sleep for most of the night, so that was cool. We just went and sort of played on the sofa instead. Yes, I was watching a video of Dann Huff chatting with a guy from Revv Amps about the Dynamis 40, I think it's called. Anyway, if you're not aware of Dann Huff, I think you probably know him from like the 80s stuff. I think he's one of the preeminent producers in Nashville now, but in any case, he basically produces some of the big country tunes, country rock, this sort of stuff. Kind of is like quite a lot responsible for like the Nashville sound as it is these days. And in that video, he was kind of pointing at his Matchless, I think it would be an HC30, because a DC30 is when it has two speakers. It was a head, so an HC30. But we have this model in the Helix, and I thought, well, let's try those settings and see what it sounds like. And it turns out, I thought it sounded pretty good. Jump into the Gumroad folder if you wanted to try them. I'd love to try a real Matchless amp, but in the UK, they're like $4,000 from this sort of era. This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. This is basically the amp that pretty much most Nashville guys seem to use. We do have one in the Helix, so I thought, well, this kind of could be interesting. Also, cab-wise, I've heard a bunch of them talk about using 65 Celestians, which I think the open back Cream has. Is that right? Classic combination, if you're looking for this sort of thing. A 121 ribbon, and then on the other side, obviously, your 57. And then blend those. So let's kind of look, I think something like this. So you can see on the first channel here, drive at about 3-ish, so clean. Then the next control on a DC30, then bass a bit higher, so maybe around 6 to 7. The treble about 5. And then where is the cut on this amp seems to me to be the control that he's got a few settings for. So here in this particular case, cut is up quite high, but cut here then, yeah, maybe about there. So that's... Right, so if we then paired that with a pretty reverb and pretty delay, let's see how far we can get with this. I reckon like a tape delay. Dan is a fan of analog delays apparently these days. We'll up the headroom as much as possible, and then we'll scale it back so that we get a left to right thing going on, so 75. Okay, let's take that mix down. So that's really nice. Let's now also try chucking in the other side of things. So this is the channel 2. Same process, tone cut. So the tone is that selector switch, which we're not going to be able to actually sort. But if you can see the volumes here, so drive just beyond there. Tone, as I say, we've kind of got this thing with Matchless where it's a... get more bass as you go. And then the cut. I think that sounds really good. Not one for the purists maybe, but for the rest of us that are okay with a little bit of modelling in our lives. Let's try the prize drive. So here we've got a cheeky version of the Nobels ODR1. Let's take the bass cut off. Spectrum goes this way, we get more, less bass. As we go this way, we get more bass, but also more highs, so that's kind of how you dial that in. So dial in that drive to taste. With this type of gain here, I'd be starting to think now, let's put on a bit of a noise gate to kind of just tidy. Just a really nice, we've got kind of 3 snapshots there that I think are quite a nice starting point, even if you need some extra stuff in there, but this cooking one. Got a real clarity to it still. And then we've got grit here. Let's turn that drive off. There's a lovely sort of tubey quality to that, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. That's what I'm using in the intro there. And again, those settings, sort of Dan settings here. This is an early Matchless DC30, but I think gives us some kind of interesting starting points if you're looking for some cool tones. So yeah, experiment with that second knob there, the tone one. That's the one which is kind of on a stepper. So more bass if you go up to 6 and less if you come down. I'm going to try it with a Telecaster as well, but that's kind of, yeah, a nice, I think, starting point for some of this stuff. So catch you in another video soon. Jump into the Gumroad folder if you're interested in checking this preset out. £5 essentially for all of my presets, so hopefully that doesn't feel like too much of a rip-off, and hopefully you'll get some use out of some of these tones. Let me just save that again, because that one... That's without any high cuts or anything going on really, so it's quite an easy to dial in if you get the right sort of cab choice with it, and I think that creamback is a really good bet. So catch you in another video soon, and cheers for stopping by. Happy New Year, by the way.